Welcome to Soul Therapy with Chelle. I am Chelle Griffin and I practice as a soul doula. I combine therapeutic knowledge and lived experience with a healthy dose of spiritual exploration. Feel welcome to join me as we learn and grow together, exploring the magic and wonderment of experiencing life on earth as a spiritual being. Hello and welcome to our 20th episode of Soul Therapy with Chelle. And of course, today I've chosen a topic that really challenges me. Nothing like diving into the deep end after a busy week. And I am really aware of how activated my nervous system is right now. We're talking about control versus surrender. And of course, in real time, it's all playing out. I have done quite a few takes already. I've had to pause, recenter, take a few breaths, get up and walk around. I've really noticed that my mouth was going dry. I was losing my train of thought and what I wanted to focus on, and feeling really immobilized for a few moments there. So I was going to keep that recording, but it's pretty unsettling listening to yourself in real time, feeling quite activated and hearing that in my own voice and noticing what I was experiencing. So I don't need to share that exactly with you, but I can share of my experience a little bit later in the episode. But yes, back to control versus surrender. We all have those moments of really wanting to be in control of our surroundings, our emotions, our situation, our sense of purpose and the outcome of our experience in doing this life. And it all comes down to our nervous system. Nervous system controls our brain, our spinal cord, and our ability to and obviously our nerves. Chelle. Gosh, my brain really is struggling to fire on all cylinders right now, trying to come back and center myself and focus. So when our nervous system has been activated, and it can be just the littlest things. For me right now, it's talking about a topic that I have to practice and consciously really support my body and my the way my body and brain communicate and respond to situations. Having been a survivor of childhood trauma and intergenerational trauma, and then experiences of trauma in other ways as a young adult, I have had to really work hard to bring my awareness into my body, be really present, focus on my breathing, and support myself when I feel really activated. And I'm safe. I'm sitting here at my desk in my home, very safe and secure, and yet my body is responding as if there's a lion about to pounce and attack me. And it's training ourselves to be really present with our surroundings and come back into our body through our breath and allow our nervous system to regulate and come out of that dysregulated experience of or freeze and foe. I have gone into this before with regards to the window of tolerance and trauma, so check the show notes for a link to that earlier episode around trauma. But today we're really going to focus on why we get activated, and how we can really support ourselves to respond and safely relinquish that control, the control over the things we don't actually have control over. Recognizing what stresses are in our life that we make quite a priority, yet we can't alter or change the outcome of those particular situations. We can't control how other people respond to us. We can't control to what the weather's doing, whether a picnic's going to go ahead because it might rain. We can't control other drivers on the road. We can't control people within our family or our friendship circles or our work colleagues. Everyone is really unique and different. So in an attempt to stabilize ourselves, we can inadvertently elevate our stress levels and activate our nervous system, taking ourselves into a state of dysregulation. Our nervous system, like I said, is made up of the brain, spinal cord, and the nerve endings that, come so close to the surface of our skin. That's how we, like the hairs stand on end on the back of our neck or on our arms, how we might get goosebumps if we're feeling in that heightened state of alert, how our mouth runs dry because suddenly the brain is saying we need all the blood to drain into our heart so that we can mobilize and run fast to avoid prey, which is like our reptilian part of the brain activating and getting ready to activate all those muscles so that you can speed, you have the strength and able to escape or stay and fight and protect yourself. So there's these big adrenaline surges that can come into play. And when that's happening to your body because you're looking at the weather report and going, oh my God, we've got a picnic planned for 3 families tomorrow afternoon and the weather's not going according to plan. If you're in a heightened state of dysregulation, generally you're going to have a bigger reaction than the average person. Or if you have memories from childhood of being in the state of not being in control, your body's going to respond. Your body's going to go on alert and let you know, hang on, soldiers calling you to action. We've got to be ready to fight or escape. And so the body is incredibly intelligent in the way of assessing our safety at all times, but that doesn't necessarily support us in the present day where we're not living in caves exposed to animals of prey and the weather elements in the same way. We've got roofs over our heads for the most part, and we have food in our pantry. If we barely are allowed to get hungry generally. And I realize that's not true for everyone throughout the world. I'm speaking to the average person who is working a 9 to 5, has a home, has stability and security. And we elevate these stresses in our life by making meaning with all these different elements that we're experiencing. And we're constantly in that assessing, judging, and responding pattern. And when we are responding in a heightened way to something that we actually have no control over, that's when we need to come into practicing awareness and presence and kindness to ourselves, patience with ourselves. There's multiple ways in which we can do that. So our nervous system controls the many elements of what we think, how we feel, and what our body does. It allows us to walk, speak, swallow, breathe, and learn. And, the body's a very intelligent tool, or tool. I'm being the tool right now. The body is incredibly intelligent. Yet, when we have these experiences in our past that we assimilate with our present experience as a way of gathering evidence, going, God, the weather's always bad when I want to go on a picnic. So then are we creating the bad weather because we've got that narrative spinning in our head? Or is the weather just doing what the weather cyclically does? And it's just a coincidence that we had planned a picnic, but we get that probability comes into play, and we gather enough evidence that our body forms this neural pathway and between our nervous system and our brain, and we make decisions based on those longer term memories. So that stems from childhood, when maybe your first day at school, you didn't know anyone, and you sat on the mat in kindy, and someone came and sat next to you and spoke to you, and then someone else did. And over time, you've had these new experiences where someone has always been there and been friendly, versus the experience of another little kid who has sat on the mat and no one has looked at them. We don't know why no one's looked at them. It could be something as innocent as their eyes were downcast and they were too shy to make eye contact with anyone else. Maybe they didn't hear someone speak to them, or maybe everyone else had just already paired up and it just happened that they were sitting on their own on the edge of the mat. Those two experiences of one feeling really met in the moment and the other one not can create a new neural pathway. And then as further experiences recur for each person, that cements in that neural pathway. And one can grow up thinking, nobody likes me, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in. And the other one can feel really stable and secure and confident to speak to new people because they've always felt met. It's how we make meaning to that experience. And then, down the road, that one person that is super confident meeting new people, may have a different experience, but their neural pathway is so strong that they just don't even notice that as a probability moving forward. The other one could have people initiate conversation with them and in later years, but they are so embedded in their nobody likes me, nobody's going to talk to me, that they can't see that, they're blind to that. And so we just continue each pathway gathering evidence to further validate what we've already decided to be true. So that can activate like a sense of chronic stress for the child who's grown up not knowing if they fit or they belong. They've got this loop going on in their mind every time they interact with someone new, and that particular experience could make them feel very stressed. And if they're under constant emotional or mental stress, then their sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system that we've been talking about, will remain activated. And this will lead to increased levels of cortisol. So over time, this can cause a range of physical symptoms such as high blood pressure, digestive issues, and impaired immune function, all from this one moment of perceived rejection or abandonment. And it's really important that we learn how to emotionally regulate and strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system, because that's responsible for the rest and digest functions. So how can we safely surrender control? I'm not suggesting we surrender all control. I'm inviting you to have a look at your life, and where do you feel this need to cling on and have control? Is it something you can relinquish or loosen your grip on? Is it something that the need to control is actually controlling you more than stabilizing you? That need to, we perceive that we want to feel really stable, and so we try to manipulate the situation to allow us that false sense of stability. So have a look at the areas in your life. What do you not have control of that you can support yourself to next time you get activated in that experience? Lean in and really support your body, your mind, your emotions, your nervous system to come back into a state of regulation. And often it's just shifting our awareness once we're aware of, okay, I get really stressed and tense if I'm going to be late for something. Have a look. Is it like, how big a deal is it if I'm late? I'm not suggesting you become tardy intentionally, but what I am suggesting is, are there other factors you can shift to support yourself to be ready on time so that you don't go into that state of stress at the prospect of being late? If you're driving to work and it's the traffic is really, really bad, and this seems to be a recurring theme, reconsider how you get to work. Reconsider, like, is there flexibility around your start time? Are you able to leave earlier than normal? Are you able to modify your morning routine so that you can get out the door at a time that keeps your body from jumping into that stress state, dysregulated state? Little tweaks, being in connection with others. We don't control how someone responds to something we say, or what someone thinks of us, or just being present in that moment and being with the other. How can we support ourselves to not go into that classic state of like overthinking, overcompensating, filling the space of silence with over talking and oversharing? I know that's something in my younger years, or when I'm around someone I don't know well and I feel a bit nervous, I can just prattle on a bit. So it's supporting ourselves, setting ourselves up for success. And ways we can do that is practicing mindfulness, meditating. These are nothing new. These are things we've gone through before, but letting go the need to control every thought or outcome can be such an incredible feeling. Mindfulness really encourages us to be present in the moment, and it allows us to accept what is without judging. This then reduces the mental strain of overthinking, and over time it helps us lower our cortisol levels by reducing stress and promoting emotional clarity. Another way we can really support ourselves is setting boundaries and delegate. We don't have to do it all by ourselves all the time, every time. If we surrender control, it doesn't mean we're giving up responsibility. It means we're understanding when we need to ask for help or when we need to delegate or outsource in whatever capacity we have. It might be you don't want to be late for work each day, but you're finding that you've got too many chores you need to get through. This is a really good way of like supporting your kids as well, if you have kids. And you can have a checklist of what your routine may look like, and just having that visual for everyone in the household, going through and checking that off, can really promote a sense of calm and the space in which everyone can get ready and go through the process of getting out the door on time. I know I've been there, like calling down the hallway, going, we're leaving now, come on. That doesn't ignite a sense of increasing the pace to get out the door for anyone but for me. It ignites my stresses. So it's, okay, we're leaving in 5 minutes. What else have you got to do? How can I support you if I've got the space? How can someone else support me if they've got the space? Work as a team, whether it's in work, in your personal life, let others share the load. We can then reduce that overwhelm and allow space for emotional and mental healing, while we're also giving our nervous system the time to recover and rest. And then finally, consider embracing the concept of good enough. We're living in this society where, especially for women, we're being conditioned to think we can be everything to everyone all the time and do it perfectly. And that's just impossible. It's absolutely impossible, because we also need to be everything to ourselves all the time. So how can we meet ourselves 100% and meet the other 100% of the time? It's actually impossible. So instead of aiming for perfection, we can focus on accepting what is good enough in any given situation. The weather is going pear-shaped. Okay, instead of a picnic, maybe everyone meets at undercover tables at the park and rides out the weather. Or maybe you go 10-pin bowling instead. Or maybe everyone comes back to your place and you play board games. Be prepared to pivot and meet the situation with flexibility, adaptability, and an open mind, an open heart. That will get everyone else on board. Instead of meeting it with panic and stress and fear of imperfection, then that energy goes out to everyone around and everyone else will respond in kind. This reduces the pressure of striving for control over every detail by allowing us the experience for greater peace of mind. We practice this by helping regulate the nervous system and fostering a sense of safety, which reduces that anxiety around the outcomes. So I hope these little strategies help these strategies help create balance by aligning with the natural flow of life, promoting emotional resilience and contributing to a long-term mental and physical well-being. As always, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, feel welcome to go to my website or follow me on socials and at _Chelle Griffin _ or my website is chellgriffin.com. And you're welcome to book a session with me however you feel aligned, and we can look at supporting you in surrendering, leaning into the moment, being present and experiencing the moment, and supporting your nervous system to respond in kind. Go gently. Thank you for showing up for yourself by listening to Soul Therapy with Chelle. Feel welcome to subscribe to my podcast, share the pod with your friends, family, colleagues and neighbours, and please, if you are willing, I would absolutely love a 5-star review to give my little pod a boost in the algorithms. For further detail on how to work with me, please visit my website www.chellgriffin.com or find me on the socials. I hope you'll join me on my next episode. Till then, go gently and intentionally. With care, Chelle.